Coming up next on This Week in Torrance, two major companies partnered up making headlines.
Then how much water have Torrance residents saved?
And get to know the city's valedictorians and what makes them so special.
Plus, visit the Torrance Brewery that will host LA Beer Week's special Unity Brew.
These stories and much more are just seconds away.
Your local news starts right now. Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Week in Torrance. I'm Julie Chan, filling in for Jin Chun.
And I'm Ben McCain. Thanks for joining us. Here are your top stories. Two major companies partnered up in making headlines. Target announced that CVS Health will purchase the 1,660 pharmacies that Target operates. In exchange, Target customers will have access to CVS Health Program's low-cost generic drugs and be able to manage their prescriptions and grab refills while they're shopping. This deal also opens up CVS, which is the country's second largest drugstore chain, to new markets in Seattle, Denver, and Salt Lake City. There are no confirmed dates yet as to when Target pharmacies in Torrance will be converted to CVS pharmacies.
And a major telecommunications company is facing large fees for misleading their customers. AT&T now faces a $100 million fine from the FCC for intentionally slowing down internet speeds for customers who had signed up for unlimited data plans. The FCC found that when customers had used up a certain amount of data, AT&T slowed down their internet speeds, causing them to be much slower than normal. Millions of people were affected and not notified of this action. The FCC has received thousands of complaints since 2011.
Once a popular brand known for their khakis and denim is closing 175 stores. Gap Inc., which also owns Old Navy and Banana Republic, plans to close Gap stores throughout the U.S. and Europe in an effort to strengthen the struggling brand. The company also plans to cut 250 jobs at its San Francisco headquarters. These moves will save the company $25 million a year. Gap has also changed up its management to help the brand and is working to improve their overall fashion appeal. These closures won't affect Gap outlet locations or Gap Inc.'s other brands. No word yet if the location at Del Amo Fashion Center will remain open.
Americans spent $21 billion on Mother's Day gifts this year. So how does that number compare to Father's Day sales? While it may not be the most profitable consumer holiday for retailers, it's expected to rake in $12.7 billion this year. That amount is up from the $12.5 billion that Americans spent last year, but down from the record $13 billion reached in 2013. According to the National Retail Foundation's 2015 Father's Day spending survey, the average person will spend about $115 on Father's Day gifts this year. The most popular gifts include apparel items like dress shirts and neckties, as well as tech gadgets.
The City of Torrance is doing its part in cutting water usage. Residential water use in the city declined 26.1% in May compared to 2013. With the help of cool weather and some light showers, the city has stepped up to increase public awareness and make drastic cuts. This means Torrance is going beyond the mandatory reductions required by the state. While the average shower lasts 8 minutes, shortening that shower to 5 minutes can reduce the amount of water used by nearly 1/3. Many residents have replaced their lawns, the biggest user of residential water, with alternatives. For more information, visit bewaterwise.com.
He may be retired from Torrance, but he isn't finished yet. Former Torrance Police Chief John New will serve as Chief of the District Attorney's Office Bureau of Investigation. New will replace current Chief Dominic Rivetti starting November 1st. The Bureau of Investigation employs nearly 300 peace officers. New currently serves as a temporary chief for the Redondo Beach Police Department.
A major installment took place at Del Amo Fashion Center to help move the renovation plans along. Traffic was stopped and spectators came out early in the morning to check out the new air conditioning unit dropped in by helicopter. Workers were on site to make sure the unit was dropped in safely. Other recent updates to Del Amo Fashion Center include the announcement of new stores joining its retail lineup, including Zara and Steve Madden. The newly updated 2.3 million square foot mall is scheduled to open in time for the holidays later this year.
It was a quick and easy stop for those eco-friendly residents looking to drop off their hazardous waste. With the help of the Los Angeles County Sanitation Districts and the city's Department of Public Works, the parking lot of American Honda in Torrance was turned into a drive-through for hazardous waste. This includes items like paint, fluorescent bulbs, as well as old batteries and computers. For more information on hazardous waste and permanent drop-off facilities in the area, visit torranceca.gov.
The cat is out of the bag. The Torrance Rose Float Association revealed this year's float design. A Torrance firefighter rescuing a cat climbing a tree is the winning design for this year's city float in the Pasadena Rose Parade. The design goes hand in hand with this year's theme, Find Your Adventure, titled A Perfectly Pawful Adventure. The 35-foot float will flaunt a Disneyland Toontown feel. A preliminary sketch was presented to the City Council earlier this month, and construction has already begun. The city has hosted a float in the Rose Parade every year since 1958. Still ahead, meet some of Torrance's brightest high school students.
And how the city celebrated 30 years of the farmers market.
At what age is the color that your skin was meant to be no longer beautiful? Every year, millions of young women try to change the skin they were born with and say they die for darker skin. Sadly, some actually do. Melanoma is the second most common cancer in teens and young adults, and one person dies from melanoma every hour. Change your thinking, not your skin. Stop tanning. Learn more at spotskincancer.org. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
North High Valedictorian, inspired by entrepreneurs like Elon Musk, wants nothing more than to start his own business and make a name for himself. Jesse Pierre has the story.
Being selected to represent your class as valedictorian is a hard position for any high school student to earn. Asan Zaman makes it look easy, but Zaman has his fair share of challenges.
When I first moved to America, learning English was difficult for me. But
Zaman was born in Bangladesh and moved to the United States when he was 7 years old. His parents wanted to move to the United States for better education opportunities for him and his younger brothers, which Zaman has taken full advantage of. Even with the speech impairment, Zaman still finishes at the top of his class.
As a child, my mother always told me that I never stuttered. But after moving here to the States, like in first grade, like somehow I started stuttering. So definitely it's been a challenge making friends, talking to new people.
Zaman doesn't allow this to hold him back by practicing breathing techniques and joining clubs like the debate team to combat it. This also helps his struggles with shyness.
My biggest challenges in high school were, I'd say, breaking out of the shell I created around myself going from middle school to high school, because as a child I moved around a lot. The transition from middle to high school was difficult, but I eventually got over it by joining clubs like CSF and debate team and making friends.
His teachers have nothing but the best things to say about him.
Asan is one of the best students I've ever had. He was remarkable in class, and the funniest anecdote that I can tell you about is he would bring me his SAT prep essays to read, and a couple of them used Japanese folktales as their premise. And so I said, Asan, how come you know so much about Japanese folktales? And he gave me this funny, sly grin, and he said, well, I make them up.
Zaman will miss North High, especially all of his friends and teachers that have been a part of his life. But he is ready for the next chapter.
I'm excited to meet all the people who are going to start at USC next year, and I'd like to meet more of people who are interested in the same things as I am in computer science and engineering type fields.
For Torrance City Cable, I'm Jessie Pierre.
Thanks, Jesse. Ashan Zaman graduated with a 4.75 weighted GPA and also won a 10-year scholarship.
One South High student received the highest honor for the class of 2015, but for Nick Lofgren, the title of valedictorian is only the beginning. Here's Hiba Sabed with the story.
All you need are these three heroes, right?
Whether it's figuring out detailed equations for his multivariable calculus course or having fun with his classmates, Nick Lofgren says these are some of the memories he's going to miss. Achieving an overall GPA of 4.8, Lofgren never thought he would be the valedictorian of his class and says he owes part of his success to his friends.
Having them in all my classes and having them to compare grades with always kept me motivated to do better and maybe to beat my friend on the next test.
And those grades are taking Lofgren up north to UC Berkeley, where he will pursue his dreams of becoming an engineer.
What I've hoped to do is kind of become a mediator between the engineers and maybe the policymakers or the lawyers or the businessmen.
Nick is a natural leader in the classroom and out of the classroom. In classes, he's very comfortable asking questions. You can really gauge the room based on if he's kind of understanding the material.
Laura Dre's Lofgren's AP economics teacher says he's always had a drive.
It was kind of a culminating experience. Like, it wasn't a split second like, oh my gosh, I did it. It was just like, wow, I worked hard in high school and I got this achievement and I'm happy.
And as high school comes to an end, Lofgren says he has learned skills that he hopes to put to use in college.
So you really had to be on top of your schedule, know what to do, know what to focus on, and know what not to focus on. And I still haven't mastered that, but I think I've gotten pretty good at it.
With his focus now on a new start, he looks forward to speaking on behalf of his class on graduation day.
And I hope that I can accurately represent them and give them a good final speech before they get to flip the tassel and throw their hat, and they can all be proud of their achievements.
For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Hiba Sabed.
Thanks, Hiba. Some extracurriculars Lofgren took part in were varsity, cross-country track, and Boy Scouts.
The Seniors Luncheon at Torrance High School is the pre-graduation celebration where seniors get together one last time. And for one particular student, she's making the best of her final days as a senior. Jessie Pierre has the story.
Rachel Longjohn, the 2015 valedictorian at Torrance High School, doesn't let her shyness slow her down.
A shy girl can graduate at the top of her class. It's okay to be afraid of public speaking. It's okay to be afraid to meet new people. You just can come out of your shell and you can do it. You can finish high school as the top of your class.
The transition from middle school to high school was very hard for Longjohn, but she found a way to make it work.
So I had to really come out of my shell and join clubs and everything because I knew to get into college I couldn't just be smart. I had to be well-rounded.
Longjohn participated in multiple school activities and clubs, which made it much easier to make friends. And they are cheering for her every step of the way.
Rachel is probably one of the brightest girls I've ever met. I've had math class with her ever since the 8th grade, and it's been a privilege just to watch her work. I think that she's, really accomplished. She's also a black belt in Taekwondo, which is something that she doesn't really tell a lot of people. But despite all of her accomplishments, she's also extremely humble and down to earth and sweet, and she's one of my favorite people.
I know she's going to be super successful, but I just want her to know that, and to know that, no matter if things get hard or not, that she's going to do great wherever she goes in life.
Rachel, if you're watching this right now, I hope you embrace USC and it's everything that you dreamed it would be. I hope you end up doing something that you really love, and if it just so happens that whatever you want to do in life changes, always know that I got your back and you got this, girl.
Even Principal Kareem Gurgis, who has 2 teenage daughters of his own, has a special message for Longjohn.
What I try to talk to the students about is just reach for the stars. Set high goals, don't be afraid to fail, and they are our future, and I look forward to seeing their accomplishments down the road.
Longjohn has many, many plans. She will attend USC in the fall on a full scholarship and looks forward to traveling abroad for 1 semester.
I'm really excited for the study abroad program because I've always wanted to travel and I just didn't really have a lot of time during high school.
And while it's never easy to say goodbye to what's familiar, Longjohn says she is excited for what's to come.
I am a little bit scared. It's kind of bittersweet, because I've grown comfortable in Torrance and I know these people. But I'm also really excited because it'd give me another chance to just take it to the next level, my academics, and also to come even further out of my shell and see what else I can do.
Longjohn will major in applied and computational mathematics. Although she doesn't know exactly what career she wants, she knows one thing. She's excited to make lots of new friends at USC. For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Jessie Pierre.
Thanks, Jesse. Rachel Longjohn graduated at the top of her class with a GPA of 4.7.
From skiing through a 14-mile terrain in Wisconsin or wrestling for her high school team, Alice Duan has accomplished much more than a typical 17-year-old. But now she gets to add one more to that list. Torrance CitiCABLE reporter Hibba Hamid has this story.
I think I've heard this song before.
As Alice Duan leads her class during their commencement rehearsal, she's proud to be #1.
I think the main reason that I was successful academically was because I work fast and I learn fast.
Duan says high school was a breeze for her even as she took on 17 AP and honor courses throughout her time at West High. And if that wasn't impressive enough, she was also the star of her cross-country team, running more than 30 miles a week.
You have to work hard for the success of the team and the other girls who you train with. And also it teaches you to be dedicated and persistent because running is very difficult and at times you don't really want to do it, but you stick with it.
It's that same dedication and perseverance. Duan says her parents had to make sure she had a good life.
My parents, they're like immigrant parents. They came here for college, and so they've worked really hard their entire lives to get us to this point.
Duan's parents moved from Taiwan to America to attend graduate school at UCLA. She remembers the stories her grandma used to tell her about the struggles her mother overcame.
Every night, like, she'd go to her lecture and then she'd record it, and then she'd go back to her dorm or wherever she was staying, and then she'd have to listen to the recording and then translate it word by word to understand what the professor was saying because of a language barrier.
These instances have helped Duan reach for the stars and know that hard work does pay off. Duan plans to attend Carnegie Mellon next fall to major in computer science.
Like, it's nice to be going to a pretty good school to make all their sacrifices worth it, and hopefully one day I can do the same for my own kids.
For Duan, the sky is the limit as she has big plans for the future.
Ideally, start my own business and then go from there, because I'm doing computer science and that's got lots of opportunities to be like an entrepreneur.
For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Hibba Hamid.
Thanks, Hibba. Duan graduated with a 4.6 GPA. She said she's excited to kick off her summer break in Europe with her family.
With less paperwork and lower fees, Torrance is becoming a desired location for craft breweries. Jesse Pierre has more on this story.
Jonathan and Lori Porter, the husband and wife duo, opened Smog City in 2013, and they still love what they do every day.
Why beer? Why not beer? That's the thing. I mean, the question is, what is it that brings people together? You know, I mean, food, drink.
Smog City Brewing Company are doing their largest bottling to date in preparation for LA Beer Week, a celebration of the beer culture in Los Angeles.
This year, because the LA Brewers Guild took over the whole week before it was being run by other people, we decided that we would start sharing the Unity Beer brand around different breweries. So we applied, we threw our name in the hat, we got picked, and we got to come up with the official beer.
The name Unity, given to the beer for the festivities, stays the same every year to represent the collaboration efforts of all the breweries involved. But the recipe changes annually.
Today we're packaging Unity. We're doing almost 600 cases or maybe more. And the machine pressurizes them and then fills them under pressure so that we don't lose all that carbonation. And then when it's ready, it lifts them, pushes them forward, and then they're capped immediately.
Torrance has gone through many iterations of what it's known for, and it's really embraced this craft beer scene, and I believe that Torrance is going to have a huge reputation growing over the next couple of years as breweries open.
What started off as an empty warehouse has grown into what's now known as Smog City Brewing Company. With 5 breweries and more in the works, the city of Torrance has become a hot spot for craft breweries.
Torrance is such a business-friendly place. Some of the biggest hurdles that my friends who have opened breweries have been dealing with the cities. And then when, I'm sure Lori told you the story, when we spoke to Rich Marcello over at Strand, he grabbed her and said, "You have found the city that you were going to open your brewery. Look no further." And he was right.
Bottles of Unity will be distributed to local retailers in time for LA Beer Week, and it'll be available on draft for tasting during the festivities. For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Jessie Pierre.
Thanks, Jesse. LA Beer Week takes place June 20th through the 28th with festivities at Exposition Park. For more information on Smog City, visit their website at smogcitybrewing.com. And to find out about the events for LA Beer Week, check out labeerweek.org.
City employees came out to donate blood for an annual charity event. Lisa Lee has the story.
There was no nervous energy as Councilman Mike Griffiths gave blood at the city's annual American Red Cross blood drive. As a longtime blood donor, Councilman Griffiths had a few helpful tips for first-timers.
Don't be afraid. The staff is really well trained. They know what they're doing. It only takes a few minutes. It's just to feel like a little pinch on your arm, and then you don't feel anything.
Heading into the summer months, the need for blood is high, with schools and families taking off for vacation. So the American Red Cross Association is teaming up with cities like Torrance.
It's part of our Torrance Saves Lives campaign, where we work with specific organizations, businesses in the city of Torrance during this time of the month.
The process usually takes 1 hour and could save up to 3 lives. Diana Boyd from the American Red Cross says it's simple and encourages first-timers who fit the criteria to give it a try.
Donors have to be in overall good health with no cold or flu symptoms. They have to weigh at least 110 pounds and have some form of identification, either an ID or a work ID, to verify that's who they are. And the main thing is just making sure that they prepare well before donating. Having a good meal, drinking plenty of water really helps them have a good experience if it's their first time.
And if the thought of saving lives isn't enough, phlebotomy technician Patricia Hale-Jones says giving blood also brings unexpected health benefits for the donor.
It's almost like giving your body a little mini tune-up, because you can get rid of dead red cells, replenish new red cells, as well as help someone who needs a blood transfusion or a cancer patient that may need your blood.
Without blood, many people would die, and so by donating blood, you're able to help people save lives and feel good about it when you donate.
For Torrance City Cable, I'm Lisa Lee.
Thanks, Lisa. To see where you can donate at a location close to you, visit redcross.org/blood.
Torrance's Cultural Arts Center held an open house to demonstrate all the classes they offer. Little gymnasts got an early start at Torrance's Cultural Arts Center open house event. Instructors and moms were on site to give their toddlers a helping hand as they tested out the balance beams and even tried some somersaults. The day also featured ceramics classes as well as the chance to put sword fighting skills to the test. The Cultural Arts Center is also available for private events. For more information on booking and a full list of classes, visit torranceca.gov/cultural services.
A tradition that started in June of 1985 celebrated its 30th anniversary.
Now we have 45 farmers and 42 food vendors for a total of 87 vendors in our market here, one of the biggest in Southern California.
Mayor Patrick Fury thanked the residents of Torrance for their spirit, as well as their hard work of farmers and vendors that allow the city's farmers market to thrive. Essential volunteers were also recognized for showing up every Tuesday, rain or shine. The Tuesday market was the first certified market in the history of the South Bay, but not only has it paved the way for other markets in Southern California, it's also a place that brings people together.
Farmers Market to me really defines community. When this is here and the people come out, and on the weekends especially, this place is just jam-packed, not just with people from Torrance, but people from all over the South Bay. It's such a great attraction.
It's just a place where people can come and get healthy produce that helps them in their everyday lives and contributes to their quality of life. So we do have local farmers that do raise organic produce, and they gives them a venue to provide that healthy produce to the local community. It becomes a gathering place for the community where neighbors, friends can come for the day, they can wander, they can shop, they can have lunch, and just generally enjoy each other's company.
What started off as a group of 25 farmers has grown into 44 farmers and 42 food vendors. Farmers Market Manager Joyce Chan isn't surprised the market has become a major part of life in the city.
Is the reason why this farmers market is so successful and has been able to last for 30 years and the next 30 years after this. I actually believe that we have the best quality farmers market in all of Southern California. Not even in quality of farmers market, but the quality of our farmers here. The freshest produce you can get here at the Tuesday Torrance Certified Farmers Market. The farmers market started with 25 farmers and no food vendors. So now, today, we have 44 farmers and 42 food vendors. I think the farmers market has benefited Torrance because it's become a gathering place for the community. So Torrance gets to come and see their neighbors and see friends from school and shop for healthy produce that's local and farm fresh and really good for you. So it's not only created community experience, but it's also improved the health of the community of Torrance.
The Torrance Farmers Market takes place every Tuesday and Saturday morning, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Wilson Park.
The Chamber of Commerce held a luncheon to celebrate this year's successes.
The Chamber was recognized for the first time in its history by the California Chamber of Commerce, and Cal Chambers as we like to call it, as one of the top 29 chambers of commerce in California. And we received the 2015 President's Circle Award.
Local businesses were recognized, including 3 businesses honored with the Legacy Award, including ExxonMobil Corporation, who has been a partner with the Commerce for over 40 years. The Small Business Award went to Merle Norman Cosmetics and Spa, which has been operating in the city for over 35 years. And the 3rd award went to Charles McDonough Accountancy, a member of the community for over 45 years. For more information on the Torrance Chamber, visit torrancechamber.com.
Now let's go out to Rhiannon Tretanich to see what's new on Canine Corner.
I'm at the Ultimate Dog Festival in Columbia Park, where there are a ton of vendors for dog products as well as agility events, and there's even going to be a dog fashion show. There's also food trucks here that are offering menus just for dogs. I'm about to enjoy my lunch, which by the way is not off the dog menu, but be sure to tune into the next Canine Corner to get a full report.
Thanks, Rhiannon. Well, that does it for us on This Week in Torrance. I'm Ben McCain. If you've missed any portion of our show, you can catch us again at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m.
And I'm Julie Chan. Thanks for joining us.
And we're wishing you a happy Father's Day this week. Here's a look at our very own CitiCABLE staff with their dads. We'll see you next time.